Hi, everybody. It's meteorologist Joe Chaffee. I want to take you through the European run tonight because there's a significant difference between this model run and what the GFS did. And I want you to keep an eye on that upper trough, which after 72 hours, which is Thursday evening, this is a huge difference from the GFS. And I just want to show you in terms of position here. This is the European, which has the upper low closed off in central Tennessee, and it's much further south than what the GFS has. If you look at the GFS model, it has the upper low up in Kentucky, in northern Kentucky. You could probably center it right near Louisville. And I'm going to even jump over to the Canadian and take a look at that. You can see the Canadian and the GFS are pretty well matched up, and the Canadian takes the upper low pretty far to the north, which is why it produces the bigger hit for areas further north than what the other models do, what the European does. But the European's view tonight is a caution flag because it takes the upper low, instead of lifting it up northeast to off of southern New Jersey and Delaware, it basically runs it off of Virginia into North Carolina. And that mileage difference is huge when it comes to what the outcome is as far as snowfall is concerned. So we're going to have to be very cautious here going forward, because the European does outperform, and we want to respect that outperformance in the long term. And we'll show you just the differences on the surface. This is at 96 hours, which is going to be Friday evening. Now, this is when the GFS has snow. Let me just go back on that. Sorry about that. Has snow on our doorstep, and you can see the surface low on the GFS is sitting in southwestern North Carolina, while on the European we have it a little further southwest. There's not a huge difference here through 96 hours. It's the difference in the next time frame when we jump out to 120. The surface low on the European is just east of Norfolk, and when we look at the GFS, it's more northeast. So the orientation of the trough is a little different, and this is why we're going to want to be a little cautious as far as how far north. And now this is the Canadian. You know, the lows are kind of clustered in the same spot, but it's just how it treats the upper low feature that ultimately determines where all of this is going to wind up. Now, in terms of the snowfall, the European has big snow amounts from New York City south and west. And if you look on my separate European discussion, I have the snow map up there. But it cuts it off somewhat across Long Island and southern New England. And again, I want to just be really cautious here, because if it winds up being further south, then we have to start asking the question as to how far north the snow is going to get. And right now, the European brings the 6-inch snow line only up into central New York. So I always get very nervous when I see things like that. So we're going to just have to continue to be very cautious in terms of our forecast. This is why I have not as yet put out any kind of early call snow, and I'm not going to do it until Wednesday, because I want this issue resolved between all the models. And because frankly, we're talking maybe about 150 miles, but that 150 miles makes a huge difference. One thing I would point out with respect to the European run is that in its position, which is shown here, I'm going to switch back. With this position like this, this would be all snow for Long Island, southern New England, New York City, and much of New Jersey. I would think the rain and mixing issues might be confined just to southernmost New Jersey as far as the European goes. So still a lot of uncertainty, still a lot of things that need to be resolved, and we will address those as we move through the day on Tuesday. And you can check the GFS video, which I've cut. It's a separate video, and I've got two analysis stories, one on the European and one on the GFS, and you can link to any of those from either European or GFS post that I've put up today. So have a good Tuesday, and we'll see where this adventure continues to move us along.